Welcome to the Railsplitter Woodshop, and today I'm going to be covering how we process lumber in here, which is where we take lumber from our stack, from our rough sawn stack, and we bring it down and we run it through the planer and we run it through the joiner, and we get all four sides of that board nice, clean, and squared up so that then we can use that for a finished project and put those boards together to make a nice project that we're getting to. So follow along the next few minutes and watch how we process lumber in here. So to compare, so you can kind of see what we're trying to get to, these are two poplar boards, okay? This side has three sides straight and square. I ran this through the surface planer, I ran this side through the surface planer, and this side through the joiner. You can see how nice and straight and square that is. This side has not been ran through because it's going to run through the table saw yet. But take a look at this. Okay, you can see how nice and clean and smooth this board is versus you can still see your saw marks. You can still see some discoloration, a little bit of grain, weathering a little bit. It is not as clean and smooth, but the big obvious thing that you can see here is look at this big barked off edge. We do not want to incorporate something like this into our project. So we have a couple of options. Do we want to cut this through with the table saw right here all the way down, or can we remove a lot of this with the planer as we take off a little bit each time, but you can still see this thing goes all the way down to this corner. So probably one of the best things to do would be to plan on cutting this straight all the way here and just cutting that off and then using this board here. As you can see, my top squared edge is a lot cleaner just after one pass. Let's get these two compared to each other. I don't know how well you can pick up in the video. A lot nice and smoother, still kind of rough. So that's just the difference between the sides. Alright, so now let's compare what we just did with the planer here and smoothed out the top and bottom, the face grain. We just planed down the face grain. And let's take a look at just the difference, and you can see here's some rough chatter from probably a bandsaw blade from the mill, and look how much different this wood looks. And I know you can't feel through it, but this is pretty rough. And this is really nice and clean and smooth. Now, let's compare our edge grain though. Our edge grain here, and even you can compare the two different sides here. Okay, look at this. See how rough sawn this is? And again, this is still just from the mill. Now look at this side of edge grain that has been through the joiner. And you can see how clean that is. So that is now what I'm looking to go do. So now you can still see we're pretty rough here on this edge grain. Face grain's looking good, but now let's go clean up this edge grain. And what I will do is I'm going to eye down these boards and I'm going to pick my crown. And as I look down this particular board, I'm holding the camera in one hand, so I can't do this with two hands right now. But my crown of my wood is going this way. Okay, and if I eye down it, see if I can get you a good view. You can maybe see down there that it crowns towards this side. So what I will do is I will take this side through the joiner and get myself one nice clean straight side, and then I will take this side through the table saw. So before I run these boards to the joiner, I want to try and visually show you what I'm doing, because this has been a big step that we miss a lot of here in the shop. All boards are going to have some type of a natural crown to them. Sometimes it's based off the way the tree grew. Maybe it grew on a hill a little bit. Maybe a branch got knocked off of it at some point and the tree started growing and twisting to open up towards some sunlight. You don't know, but all lumber will have a crown to it at some point. So my best explanation that I can try and show this to, I'm going to show it a little exaggerated. Okay, so let's say this is our board here. Maybe that's too exaggerated. So here's our board with a big crown in it. And here's our grain. Maybe you got a knot right there. Okay, whatever. Let's go to black. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the side that the crown is on this side. This is the crown. So I'm going to take the opposite side through the joiner. And through every pass, I'm going to take off like maybe a 32nd to a 16th of an inch. I'm going to make a bunch of passes here. Eventually, I'm going to get it to a point where I will straighten this side. This is exaggerated, but pretend that's a nice straight line. So now I have cut off all of this, a little bit of this, and all of this. I've gotten rid of all that to get to a straight edge. Now, to cut this side, I will take this to my table saw fence. Okay? I will take that to the table saw fence, and I will take the blade through this side. No, not drawing very well today. Hopefully you get what I'm trying to do. But then I will have a join side that is nice, clean, and square, and then I will have used the table saw to cut that opposite side. The reason that we don't want to join this side and then join this side is because you can naturally get a taper on both sides depending on grain. There's a lot of factors that can change that. So if I just get one side straight and square and I have a really good table saw that I can run parallel to it, then I'm going to do that, because that's the best way to get my board parallel. So hope that makes sense. Let's go over to the joiner. Okay, so I talked about we've got the two face sides, the two face grains, top and bottom, of the board in really nice, clean, square shape. So now what I need to do is I'm going to start taking off the bottom side, and I don't know how well the camera's picking up, but I have a little bit of a gap right here. That's also another way to tell which side your crown is on. I want this board like the St. Louis Arch right now. Okay, I want this board arched up. I don't want it like a smiley face. That would be upside down. My crown is up here. So I'm going to start taking this off and taking the back side off, and I'm going to continue to take these off until this is straight and square. I can use this bed. This old joiner is so well machined, and this bed is so straight and square that I can use this bed as a reference, as a straight line. So I will do that, and then I will take it over to the table saw to cut it off, and I will end up with 4 straight sides. So I've got a good face grain on both sides. Now I need to take off some edge grain. So I'm going to go ahead and run this board through, and we'll see what we can do. But as I continue to go back, there's a few safety things I want to keep. You'll keep me, pay attention to where I keep my feet. I don't want to get my feet too far behind myself or too far here. I kind of trying to stay in an athletic position, and I kind of keep my feet spread apart a little bit, and I want to go here and I want to work the board all the way through. I don't want to start way back here, and I also don't want to start way up here. We'll get started here. So I'm crowned this way. I'm also using this fence at a 90 degree to keep my board square, keep my edge grain square. Do you hear how the board will cut for about 6 to 8 inches and then you hear nothing and then you hear it cutting again? Well, you should start to hear those cut times longer. The longer that cut line goes, that means the more wood we're taking off. So hopefully it's getting better. Nothing? And there's the cut. So you can see here, now we got a nice straight edge. So now we're gonna run this edge to the table saw. This side will get the fence, this side will get the blade. To give you an idea, so what I'll do is I will measure to this side. We're just about 7 1/4 there. So just for easy figuring, let's just go down to 7 inches. So I'm going to cut this 7 inches wide. So I'm going to put the dumb end of my tape up against the fence. Dumb end to the fence, and then I will measure to 7. I see a lot of people, they try and measure like this. Well, now I have a bent tape measure. Go this way. Bring this over to 7. Just right to the inside of the blade right there. My clean squared edge is going to the fence. My ugly edge is going to get cut off from the blade when I go through. And I will keep it straight right here. So hey, let's check it out. Let's take a look. Now we have 4 clean square sides. Nothing rough sawn. Everything is nice and clean and square. My 2 face grains, good. 2 edge grains. Now you can still see my rough edge end grain has not been cut, but I will cut that for length. And a good example of something I was talking about previously, you can see this crack. Let's come into here. So I don't want to just come right here to the crack. I want to come in a couple of inches and make that cut here so that that crack doesn't continue to work its way down this grain. So thanks for joining in on processing our lumber and getting all 4 sides of that board square just by using our joiner and our planer. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed watching along with the shop. And now we have a nice clean square board that we can use that is ready to start making projects. And so we just repeat that. Normally, if you have 6 or 8 boards, we will do every step together. Don't just do one board and then go back and do that 6 more times through the whole process. If you have 6 boards that need to be planed, plane all 6 of them together. Join all 6 of them together. And you'll get done a lot faster than you will if you take one board and plane it and join it, and then you go get another board and plane it and join it. It takes a lot longer that way. Batch things out. That's today's tip. So, all right, it's Friday. I'm going home. Have a good weekend.